let's dive in.
So tell me, what do the cards reveal? What's the truth they conceal? She's the high priestess with the key to every question that's haunting me. A lover's heart or a warning from the past. In the Terran's embrace, I'm spellbound at last. Truth's come undone, it's a dance we must face. In the chaos, I find my place.
In the tarot's embrace, I'm spellbound at last. Truths come undone, it's a dance we must face. In the chaos, I find my place. The moonlight glows, the veil is thin. Lunar affinity will call again. Thanks for walking in the light, where guides whisper pure insight. Until we meet, the cards will wait. Mystic whispers guide your fate. With every message our spirits send, for cosmic dreams our souls transcend.
Hello everyone, welcome in to another live stream. I know it's kind of late tonight, but that's just how my day worked out. So hopefully you guys are ready for some reading. Sweeter, I am doing a lot better. Hopefully I sound better. It's been almost 3 weeks since I got sick, so hope to God I sound better. But thank you for asking. We're going to get started here. Make sure if you drop a yes, no question that you are also liking the live stream. Want to let you guys know in advance that I'm not going to be on for very long tonight. Maybe about an hour. So if you are wanting to do a paid reading, I just suggest you get those in ASAP before the list closes. Let's see. All right, we're going to start at the top. Thank you. There's still a little bit of a cough that's remnant, or residual, but luckily that's not too bad. It's okay if you guys don't post your like numbers. The reason why is because I have a lot of people coming in here and they'll like say that they all liked number 1 or all like number 5. And there's no way for me to really keep it straight, to be honest. And I think that when they like the live, unless they're making something up, that maybe at the time they thought that was their number and then it wasn't. So it's like an honor system, so it's really okay. but I do keep track of how many questions are dropped versus how many likes are on my video. So whenever there's a discrepancy, then I usually will mention it. All right, so this is for Blessed One. Blessed One. Blessed One, I have a yes, the Knight of Pentacles. Sophie. Sophie, no. 8 of Swords. Gemini. Oh, Gemini, did you update your profile picture? It looks different. Gotta know, Gemini 2 came out at once. 10 of Wands and 8 of Cups. All right, this is for Sweeter. Sweeter, you got 2 cards as well. I have the 6 of Pentacles and the 8 of Pentacles. So this is a return on an investment, return on energy, effort, etc. And then we also have the 8 of Pentacles, which talks about hard work paying off and things like that. All right, nannies. Nannies. I have a no, 2 cards out at once, Knight of Swords and 4 of Swords. Ray. Ray, I got a maybe. 2 of Wands, choice, 2 paths, decision. But if ever I get a maybe, which is rare, I always like to see, well, which way are we leaning? And we're leaning towards yes, most likely yes. Queen of Swords. Galileo. Congrats on the interview. I know that that's even hard to do just to get an interview these days. Galileo, I pulled the 4 of Pentacles. That's a yes for me. Hopefully I'm right. You're welcome, everyone. All right, this is for Shirley. Oh, we got another job interview here. Queen of Swords. That's a yes for me, Shirley. It's actually the same card that I just pulled for Galileo. All right, so we're all caught up on the free list. Just a few minutes left. If you have a yes, no question, just drop it in the chat. Make sure you're liking the live. Make sure you're present for your question. Again, this is a shorter live, so if you're interested in a donated/paid reading, get those in ASAP because I probably won't be on for very long tonight. You're welcome. Petals and Tarot, hello, welcome in. How are you? Taka, thank you so much. Free list is going to close in like 3 minutes, so we'll be right with you. Did you want to drop your question now? Petals and Tarot. I'm getting a no. I have the 8 of Cups. So what this means usually for me is that either the timing is off with your question or the question itself in general is a no. But you can always influence this outcome with your free will. So if there's anything else that you can do to kind of make this go another way, I definitely would. If there's any adjustments, maybe you can reach out to them, etc., etc. But it doesn't mean a no altogether. It just might have to do with the timing of the question. All right. 1 minute left before the free list closes. Please make sure you're dropping your question in the chat, liking the live. We are going to move on to donations in just a second. Petals and Tarot, you're welcome. Good luck with that, okay? Love bug, I have a yes. The 10 of Pentacles. All right, that's it for the free list, friends. Thank you so much. We are moving on to donations now. You're welcome. All right. So Taka says, Jay's thoughts after seeing me today at work. Vain, but his thoughts physically. I've been wearing my makeup different and had lash extensions. It was nice seeing him very lighthearted and fun. Oh, and funny interaction. Today in my story, interacted with one of my new hires. She's very funny. Wish she could have stayed longer though. well. I was in a very good mood today because I'm off tomorrow. Yay! Booked a massage. That's nice. So I think he mirrored my energy a bit. And oh my god, girl, he asked about my phone wallpaper again. He was like, where did you go? Keeping tabs on you. All right. Nothing like funny coworkers. That's always a good time. Okay, thoughts after seeing you today at work. Thoughts after seeing you today at work. So the one thing I think he wants you to know is that, okay, it's like Leo energy, okay? So he really gets excited when you get like dolled up. Like it's definitely appealing to him. He likes when you put effort into yourself and you look good, and because that's important to him, to look good, to smell good, to feel good, etc. But I think he also wants to make it very clear that that's not really something that you need to do for him to be attracted to you. Because I kept hearing all natural, all natural. So either you're enhancing your already very natural, beautiful features through these like makeup changes and things like that. And or he's saying it's not necessary, however, it is appreciated. I think that he really does enjoy the idea of you getting yourself all pretty every once in a while. Hey, Tucky, welcome in. And Taka, he appreciates this. It's Leo energy. So the Leo energy coming from him, it doesn't matter if he's a Leo or not, but the Leo energy coming from him likes self-expression, likes seeing you be a little different, be a little bold, kind of put yourself out there. That's definitely enjoyable for him. As far as the emotional component, he's saying it's not required. Like, you know, you could still be lounging at home, not really doing much, and he's still going to find you attractive. However, this is exciting to him to see a difference, right? Techie, once that donation comes through, just let me know. You should be next on my list, okay? So it's not really, I feel like he's kind of like, I'll take you anyway, right? Like the differences kind of excite me seeing it. I think it's like the switch up. I think that's more than anything something he likes, is that it's a little bit unpredictable, you know, like he likes the change. He likes it when things aren't the same all of the time. So there's like a specific word or phrase that it's like escaping me right now, but he likes when there's a change. Okay. So he, what am I trying to say right now? I hope you get what I'm trying to say. So it's like sometimes you might be dressed down, sometimes you might be dressed up, sometimes your makeup is more variety. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, that is what I'm looking for. So that's kind of where he's coming from. And I think that he likes when you express different parts of yourself, different parts of your personality. So yes, and then the sun here is making me feel like there was a lot of physical attraction to you today, because the sun is very playful, youthful, maybe feeling like you really outdone yourself, looking so amazing. The sun is here for a good time, wants to have fun. Maybe even there was something youthful about your appearance as well, that was just making you look over the top amazing. I feel like he definitely was paying attention to this because I have the judgment card. And so judgment is not that he was judging you, but he was analyzing you. He was observing you. He was taking it in. Did you know if you were going to see him today? Because I kind of feel like I've got questions right now. Like, did she do this for me? Right? Like, I'm wondering if maybe he's like, was she doing this for her? Was she doing this for me? A little bit of both. Like, there's a little bit of questioning here. Let's see. You also have the Queen of Wands, which again is very Leo energy. So with this kind of spread, it makes me feel like you were turning heads. Like not only were you attractive to him, but he would have considered you just generally attractive to every single person. Because the Queen of Wands is that kind of energy. Like maybe it was making you come across a little bit more confident, a little more like feeling yourself. And the Queen of Wands is like, I turn heads when I walk in the room. Like everyone knows I'm here, everyone knows I'm present. And there could be, I feel like I do get sometimes a little jealousy from him, a little territorialness from him. So maybe there was like feelings of like, she's not mine, but I want her to be kind of vibe. I feel like there's a lot of times where he feels like he's in a position where he's not allowed to be jealous. Like he feels like he hasn't earned it. He feels like it's not his place, that he shouldn't be allowed to feel jealous, but I think that he does. And then that's also a little conflicting for him too, just because he's like, well, she's not my girl, but I don't want anyone else to like want to be with her. So yeah, I feel like he's just like, you were a knockout, you were stunning. You're just like all around attractive to me and also probably to every other person that sees you today. And I feel like he's celebrating you. So I don't want you to feel like any kind of like jealousy or anything like that is overriding just his general appreciation for your physical appearance today. That obviously takes over. That's more important to him. And maybe there was like a little bit, because I have like celebration of you, Six of Wands, appreciating you, recognizing you. It's like he definitely noticed. There was no doubt about it. And I think there was a lot of curiosity. He said you were hoping to see him, but no, surprisingly today I just wanted to be extra. So I was like, okay, yay, he shows up on a day I look nice. Sweet. I peed the territorial vibe when he asked where I go on my birthday. Oh, right. Yes, exactly. But see, here's the thing. And I love that you pick up on those subtle shifts, because those are the things that are really going to help you to see that there is genuine interest here. But what was I going to say? So he has curiosity from his end, from his side of like, did she do this for me? Does she think she would see me today? Like, I think he likes the idea of you dressing up or like dolling yourself up a little bit more if you think you're going to see him, because he likes feeling like you're putting in the effort to make him notice you. Like that's very flattering to him. But the Six of Wands is here basically saying like, if he could compliment you, he would. He may have tried to compliment you like in a discreet way, like not a very obviously overt kind of way. But I still feel like regardless of how that went, he was complimenting you in his head for sure. So yeah, that is what I've got. Let me know if you have any questions about this. You're welcome, Taka. I hope you have a good rest of your night. Oh, before you go though, did you ever ask him, or sorry, did you ever answer his question about what you did for your birthday, or did you just keep him guessing? All right. So, you kept it vague on purpose. Good girl. Got to keep him on his toes. That was a smart choice. All right, friend. Have a good night. Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. You found it seems like you found like a sweet spot. All right, so next on the list is Techie. Then after that, we have Mystic. Mystic, thank you for the donation. Techie's on it, already posting your question. Thanks, girl. Okay, so Techie says, what do you see for MG and I in November? What's happening in November? Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'm kind of viewing this spread as like throughout the month. Okay. So I'm kind of going in order, like maybe like the beginning, middle, and then last part of the month. Um, to be honest, November is a little bit more of the same. You might still see some progress though, because I feel like that's kind of how your connection is like chiseling away little by little. So I think maybe by the end of November, you'll still feel like there was progress that was made as a whole, even if every single day doesn't feel like a big leap or a big momentum. I see in November, he kind of goes through like a little bit of in and out, a little bit of hot and cold energy. It's not that he's being inconsistent with you, but in terms of his actions, it's like sometimes you might feel more effort than other times. Okay. So it doesn't mean his feelings are changing for you or anything like that emotionally. It just might mean that as far as what you're witnessing from him, his actions towards you, things like that, that might be a little bit inconsistent. I have the death card, which means that he's thinking deeply about kind of changing his approach with you. Um, he's trying to figure out the best way to kind of navigate forward with this. So maybe throughout the month of November, he's really thinking about what he wants from this connection and how he wants it to go. And is it going the way that he wants? And if not, what can he do to fix that? So I think that you're going to be dealing with a very reflective, introspective, and very thoughtful and very mindful MG in November. Now, during this time, maybe towards the beginning of the month, he might be a little bit quieter. This is not disinterest, it's like reflection and rest, and just maybe trying to think through things. It may feel like a pause, but again, it's not an end. I just want you to know that despite how they act, it doesn't mean that there's not still interest here. Okay. I just want to be very clear about that. And he might also like feel awkward sometimes, like, or hold himself back from expressing how he's feeling for you at the beginning of November. But I do see that maybe towards the middle of the month, the sun in the Wheel of Fortune is here, which talks about a breakthrough. So in the beginning of the month, there might be a little bit of stagnation, but then the energy will shift for you, where he is going to be maybe more open, more cheerful, more confident, possibly initiating contact to spend time with you. This is going to feel like, oh my God, where did this come from? But this is very positive, maybe even spontaneous, lightheartedness, laughter, warmth, all of that stuff. And so I feel like maybe you're going to feel like things get back on track. 3 of Cups is here talking about wanting to connect with you socially, potentially inviting you to hang out, messaging you, being friendly, flirty, etc. And we also have the 2 of Pentacles. So by the end of the month, maybe feeling a little bit more like there's more balance being brought back into the relationship, or like the connection. So I think it's a little bit of the same, but maybe beginning of the month is a little bit more quiet, end of the month is more expressive towards you, maybe more of that connection that you're looking for. And of course, if there's anything you don't like about this reading, you can always try to influence this through your own free will. Maybe if he feels a little quiet and you're like wanting to communicate, maybe you can be the one to reach out to him potentially. Or maybe you say, you know what, he needs this time, let him do his thing. He's coming back around at the end of the month, so that works for me. But yeah, that is what I've got. Yeah, I think that there's definitely potential for that at the end of the month, especially with the Sun, Wheel of Fortune, and 3 of Cups. So with that being said, I feel like there's a shift that happens. And with the 3 of Cups is wanting to be social with you. So maybe being more flirty, more in communication with you back and forth. And then again, there's that potential of like inviting you to hang out in an outside setting, maybe a setting where he typically doesn't normally see you. You're very welcome, Techie. Thank you for stopping in. I hope you have a good rest of your night. All right, next up we have Mystic. Mystic, if you're here, I've got you down for an in-depth reading, so just let me know what our question is tonight. Thanks, Techie. Okay. So you're asking about HP. All right, let's see. Does he not see you as someone he could ever want a commitment? Let's see. Would he ever consider commitment with Mystic? Would he ever consider commitment with Mystic? What's stopping him? Mystic, would you consider yourself a nurturing type of person? Like, would you say that you're the type of person who is very like loving, doting, affectionate? When you're in like a relationship or even with like your loved ones, would you say that you anticipate other people's needs, come across very feminine, very maternal to people? I'm curious because I pulled the Queen of Cups card and I see the Eight of Cups here as well, which kind of talks about like being withdrawn from that kind of energy. So I'm trying to figure out, yeah, I was going to say, I think you might be triggering him for some reason, because what's happening, I think, is he's feeling like it might be a little much or a little bit too much for him. Now, it doesn't mean that you should change any aspect of who you are. It just kind of means that he has to address why that is bothering him. Now, this could come from lineage. This could come from family issues. I do have the Ten of Pentacles here, which is the family card, okay? So this can talk about how either he had, it could be either extreme, like he could have had a maternal figure that was extremely nurturing and like not necessarily overbearing, but maybe that's a word he would use, and feeling that nurturing energy from you, feeling like that similar thing, it might be kind of affecting him. And or it could be the opposite. It could be he never experienced someone like you before, and this is like a lot for him. Because maybe he's just not used to it. So I'm trying to figure out if that's what he's seeking, but either way, he's running away from it. He's running away from you being this very like ideal, high value, like person that could come into his life. I specifically asked if he would ever see himself being in a commitment with you, and I did get a yes. That's where the family card came in, the Ten of Pentacles and the Six of Pentacles, okay? So I feel like he's not running away from you per se. He's running away from a part of himself, and this stems from early childhood or adolescent years, in terms of like how it's something about your nurturing self is makes him feel uncomfortable. And again, it's not because of anything you're doing that's wrong or different or you should change about yourself. It's a reflection of how he's processing this, how it's making him feel. It's funny because I have readers tell me that he's not used to it and it triggers him when people genuinely care. Yep. Well, here we go. We're right on the money then, because that's exactly what I'm picking up for him. And I want to just like be very, very clear. He would see himself in a commitment with you 100%. The Ten of Pentacles and the Six of Pentacles, that's basically like mirrored energy, mutual effort, mutual interest. Ten of Pentacles means like he could see you in his life for a very long time. Like the Ten of Pentacles is long-term relationships, things that we have in our lives forever. It's marriage, it's family. And it also speaks to like growing old together and like building a life together and things like that. So those are the two cards that come out as far as his commitment and potentially seeing commitment with you. That's great. I don't think that's a problem. I think that he sees you as the type of person that you would settle down with. You are, the kind of girl you bring home to mom. So for lack of better words. So I feel like that's not really something you have to worry yourself with in terms of like how he's seeing you. It's more about what you trigger within him that he has to figure out. He has to work on that. He has to figure out why he's uncomfortable receiving this type of nurturing love and like adoration and things like that. And it's something that he's going to have to sit with, and unless and until he works through that, whether that's through therapy, that's through spiritual growth, personal evolvement, etc., you might just always be that trigger for him. I think that there's men out there that are seeking a feminine energy that crave that because they never had it and they crave it, or it's the opposite where they never had it and so it makes them uncomfortable. And I think that, the latter, I think that is what's going on with him for sure. I try to show up for people because I felt neglected by my parents. Oh, Mystic, it's ironic. So you and him could probably relate actually very well in a different way, but like you guys almost have parallels, it seems, where you're kind of the same, but from his perspective, he grew maybe more detached and you were more attached. That's why with things like this, that's why I asked you in the beginning if you find yourself to be like that nurturing type of archetype, because that quintessential like personality trait sometimes can stem from a lack of that or too much of it, and so you're just mirroring that energy. So I feel like for you went one way, right, and he kind of went the other. So he has to sit with himself and figure out, because I think what it is he wants that. Okay, he wants to feel comfortable with how you are. He just isn't, and he has to figure that out, because what I believe is that, let's just say he was considering commitment with someone who wasn't like you, it wouldn't work out, and it's not what he wants. He wants what you offer. He just doesn't know how to receive it. Do you get what I mean? And like, for example, like I'm kind of seeing parallels a little bit. And what I will say is like, if he can find that healing within himself, he will be drawn to you like a moth to a flame. Because the second that my husband allowed himself to receive me in that way, he was like, I'm going to marry this girl. Like, I'm going to marry her. We're going to move in together. Like, we're going to have kids together, all that stuff like that. But he had to allow himself. Like, I always felt this resistance, even though he was very much acts of service. He followed through. If he made a promise, he showed up. He added value to my life. He did all of the things that were important to sustain a relationship. Emotionally, it was kind of hard. I had to kind of chip away at it a little bit. And the second that he allowed himself to receive me and receive, because I'm like you, that's when everything changed in our relationship for the better. And that was really the only obstacle, is just getting through, like, talk to me, communicate with me. And he was so used to being closed up. He has an amazing family. He has amazing parents, but through a lot that he went through growing up, he found that his mother had to kind of channel into her masculine energy. His dad was disabled, and she had to be the breadwinner. She had to be the one to go to work, be the provider. She stepped into that like role, and the nurturing wasn't there as much. His mom is amazing. I'm so happy that she's in our life, my life. Like, I'm so blessed to have her as a mother-in-law. But I will say I noticed that from him, he didn't receive that like physical nurturing and affection and things like that. It was more like his mom provided for him. So he mirrors that, like, he wants to be the provider of the family. Like, he takes after his mom in that way. But as far as like the nurturing side of it, it was like that took a minute for him to allow me to be that way with him. And it was like the second he allowed himself to receive it, everything opened up for us. So I want you to know, like, to not necessarily get discouraged, okay? Hold on a second. Actually, speaking of my husband, he's probably going to call me soon. Hold on. So I don't want you to necessarily get discouraged with this relationship and feel like this person's never going to open up to you, because that's not the case. But he has to allow himself to put in a position to be open to it, even if it's little by little over time. You're learning a lot about letting people figure out their own feelings instead of pushing them. Yes, exactly. Exactly. And both parties have to be open to constructive criticism and communication. And like, you know, my husband and I were celebrating 10 years on Saturday together. And throughout the span of our life together, it's not like we're in deep conversations all the time, but maybe once or twice a year, we talk about our childhood. We talk about how we grew up. We, you know, acknowledge things within each other, maybe bring things to the other person's attention. And through those conversations, we get to where we are now. And so I, again, don't want you to get discouraged thinking that HP is never going to be open to you or open to receiving you, but he has work to do first. And where that leaves you and for how long that leaves you on the sidelines is your choice. You know, is this someone that is worth waiting for? Are they giving enough to you to make it worth it for you to be patient and allow for them to get there? Or is this maybe something you got to step away from for a little while and figure yourself out? So, you know, that's where your free will comes into play. But as far as his perception of you, he definitely sees you as like an ideal person for him for commitment. Okay? Let me know if that answers your question. Hopefully so. That's totally understandable. Absolutely. And you know, that's like a little bit of the difference, because in my relationship earlier on, he was committing to me. He was, you know, in a relationship with me. He was being proactive in his pursuit of me. He was being faithful. He was, you know, showing up, providing, adding value, all that stuff. We were in a relationship. We were actively a part of each other's life. So for me, it was worth it. He was worth it to say, okay, maybe this is too much at once, but you're giving enough to me right now where I'm sure we can work through this at some point down the line. But as far as you may not feel that way. And so for you to protect yourself and just kind of ensure that you're not giving too much of your energy to something that you're not receiving that balance back, you have to make that choice. You know what I mean? It feels one-sided. Okay. Yeah, well then I definitely would encourage you to follow your plan, basically. Your intuition's telling you to kind of pull back, and I think that that's a good idea. I don't think you're delusional. Is that what you're saying? You think you're delusioning yourself? If that's what you're saying, I don't I don't think so. You seem to have a very clear head on it. You know what I mean? I don't think you're being naive at all. I think you're being very clear about what's happening right now. And there's nothing saying that you can't still hold a little bit of interest in this person. You can throw, an egg in that basket if you wanted to, but I wouldn't put them all there, obviously. Leave the door cracked. It's okay. This person might come around at some point, but what you don't want to do is give too much energy to something that you're not receiving in return. And therefore, you're not seeing other things in front of you. Definitely don't want to be like that Four of Cups energy. So, you can pull back, but it doesn't mean you're completely breaking things off entirely. Or you can, and you can say, at this point, I washed my hands of it. And if he comes around, then that's on him to pursue me at that point. So, it's really up to you. I feel like, especially doing readings, I noticed that a lot of people kind of put themselves in this box where they'll say it's either this or this. And there is gray area, that's what I actually did with the person I was dating before my husband, is I was like, look, I know what I want. I know what I'm looking for. I still have feelings for this person, but clearly it's not going the way that I want. And I will be open to it if this person comes at me correct. If this person comes to me completely changes, and adds to my life and realizes that I'm the one that they want, I'll be open to it. I'll be open to hearing them out, but I'm not going to dwell there anymore. And it was like the second that I pulled back, I said, okay, I'll leave a little crack for you, but you're going to have a lot of making up to do because I've officially moved on. And that's when I met my husband. So, there's nothing wrong with that at all. We don't have to put ourselves in this confinement where it's like this or that. It can be somewhere in the middle. But what we're doing in that process is protecting ourselves. So, Mystic, that's what I've got for you, girl. If you want to add on for anything else, just let me know. And if not, I hope you have a good rest of your night. I'm probably going to hang out for maybe 15 more minutes or so. And then I'm going to sign off. Maybe 10. We'll see. Depending on how this goes. Hey, guys. How are you? You're welcome, girl. Have a good night. SB Asen, hello. How are you? Glad to hear it. I'm doing well. Hey, SB. Yeah, Asen, if you want to donate, you can be my last one of the night if you'd like. SB, I'm ready for your questions when you are. Thank you, SB. I think I'm finally getting back to normal here. The only thing I have left is a little bit of a cough every once in a while. But I'm sleeping better, I'm sounding better, I'm breathing better. So it's just kind of sad how long it took for me to get over that, though. All right, BOGO 1. Oh no, okay. All right, let's see. Asin, I got your donation. All right, girl, so you're going to be last on my list / next on my list, okay? And then we're going to be signing off. I'm sorry that this is a shorter stream. My day got away from me. Yeah, I, like, almost 3 weeks ago, I came down with something. I think it was like a sinus / upper respiratory infection. And I took like a week and a half off of work. I did like readings here and there, but I sounded really bad. And this Sunday will be 3 weeks since that happened. But it took like, I would say, a good 10 days where I felt like I could come back to work consistently. And then another week probably before I feel like where I'm at right now. So it got a hold of me and it tried to stay for a long time. And it wouldn't have been an issue if it just stayed a sinus infection, but then it turned into a sore throat and then it turned into an upper respiratory. So it was like every 2 to 3 days, it was like moving down and like new symptoms were coming up. So that was the hard part. It didn't just stay a sinus infection. I'm pretty sure if it did, I would have been fine. Like I would have recovered a lot faster. All right. So Ascend, you're going to be next after SB, and then I'm going to sign off for the night. Okay, guys? Let's take a look at BOGO 1 for SB. All right, so SB, the phrase I'm hearing from Spirit is worth a shot. But as far as it getting things moving, I'm thinking it's less than likely that this is going to happen. I almost feel like you got to go over this person's head or something like that, or speak more towards the courts or whatever. What I will say is that worth a shot, like sending this message or email or whatever, contacting this person in this way will give you a track record. Okay. So you can be like, for legal purposes, which I don't really talk legally, but just for this example, you could say this, you have a paper trail. Do you get what I'm saying? It's worth a shot to reach out to this person because then you have the paper trail of I contacted this person, I contacted that person. This is when the payment stopped. This is when, like I started having these issues with him, et cetera, like, being able to say, I reached out to command, I reached out to this person, I reached out, like having that paper trail will kind of help build your case. But this one specific action of reaching out to this person, I don't feel confident telling you that's going to get things moving, that alone by itself. I feel like there's camaraderie and there's a personal relationship that the two of them have, that this might be more of like a heads up, this is what happened. Almost like the person in command might have a little bit more of a loyalty to him and may not be instantly available to help you out of the situation. Now, finding out that this could cause disciplinary action might be worth it, because then if for whatever reason the command does not do anything about this, you could potentially go over their head. Like you said, working with an agency as well. I think it's going to require multiple attempts. I just don't think reaching out one time is really going to get you that, what you're looking for. And even the command might be on his side. Do you get what I'm trying to say without saying too much? I feel like there might be some kind of like camaraderie, loyalty, something along those lines where he might get the heads up on this, that this is what's happening. And that really shouldn't matter. That shouldn't affect how you're going to act either way. That shouldn't affect like your decision to reach out to this person or not. But I just don't think that single action alone is going to do anything. I have the Seven of Swords and the Nine of Swords, almost like there's going to be some kind of like sneaky kind of, giving him the heads up situation. Like, yeah, I don't know. I just don't feel like this is going to be exactly what you're looking for. But for the sake of having a paper trail, for the sake of being able to say, hey, I reported this, like I gave them this information, I think for your sake of being able to build a case, it would be worth it to just say, like, I did this too. I'm trying everything that I can to like further this along. But I do think your friend's boyfriend as a commander is saying this should work, but he is shady and the army can be too. Wait, your friend's boyfriend is a commander, is saying that this should work, but he's shady. Shit, really? Okay, SB. So I'm glad that I'm picking up on the right energy. You need to trust your friend's boyfriend or her husband. You need to trust her husband because that sneaky, shady energy is here. You got the Seven of Swords. Look up Seven of Swords. It's literally deceit, lies, trickery, underhanded behavior, etc., etc. So, like, that's the thing. I don't want you to feel like this is going to be the end all be all answer. So you kind of have to decide. And honestly, I would take advice from the agency. I feel like there's like a brotherhood, right? With this, like it's like a protection of each other, and like that's the reason why I don't think you're going to get the results that you're looking for. So you have to figure out, is it best to try to reach out? Is this a last resort? Is this something I should do either way, just so I can say I did it? But knowing that potentially would give him the heads up on what you're trying to do here could make him more upset. It could make him more retaliated. I think you need to seek out the advice of your advisors first before making that decision. Yeah, I think it could piss him off. I think it could piss him off. It's funny that you asked that question as I said that. I think, is it going to be something that he comes on the attack for? Not necessarily, but I have the Emperor and the Ten of Wands. And so that tells me that he's just going to continue to try to make your life more difficult. Like, I don't think this is going to do you any favors in terms of him being receptive and understanding. I think he is who he is and that he might act out of spite. I don't necessarily think he's going to necessarily actively retaliate against you, but I think that he might try to make this harder for you if he finds out what's going on. So yeah, I asked what the outcome would be, and I got the 5 of Cups, which just basically speaks to like feeling like you lost this battle. So that's something I would think over first before making a decision on that. Let's take a look at your second question. All right, so you want to know if this would be a better fit for you? Okay, let's see. Will this be a better fit? Let's see. Like I keep hearing pivot. I feel like this is going to be what am I trying to say? Like a almost unknown territory, I guess, with this type of job. Like your skills and experience and expertise are definitely going to come into play here. Obviously, you have to have certain qualifications to be able to do a job like this, but I almost feel like this feels like unknown territory. Be it the job itself or the company or something along those lines. They're saying that 7 of Pentacles, worthy investment. So I feel like this might be something that is a better fit for you. I guess the energy that I'm picking up on is, are you doing this just to get out of your current circumstance, or is this something that you actually are really passionate about? Because what I'm kind of feeling is that it's a reprieve, it's relief, it's something different, something better, maybe even socially it's better, maybe the company is better, the money is better, the hours are better, whatever. But I almost feel like like I don't know how to word this besides framing it like a question. Is this something you're passionate about? Is this something that you would want to do? Because this specific type of position does require that like one-on-one interaction, that compassion. You're dealing with them like very much directly, and also probably reoccurring. Like maybe where you work now, do you see the same patients over and over? I think with home health you do. So you're building more of a relationship with these patients and things like that. Yeah, going through a lot of my current job. It has experience. I was also experiencing retaliation there. So you're basically putting yourself in a position where you're trying to protect yourself. So I need to see if I do like it, but I have to try. What I will say is you're coming through as Temperance. You're very much appreciated by the people that you'll be working with or working for. You're coming through like an angel sent from above. So I feel like you're going to very much feel appreciated, like you're adding value, like you are valued in this position. Maybe even from the patients themselves, they feel like you're a godsend. And I have Temperance talking about like inner peace and inner calm. Now, this card comes with compromise and accommodation. So sometimes that can mean that you're pivoting to this position just because you're trying to get out of another one, or it can come with its own set of accommodations that you're needing to kind of make those adjustments in your life. But the Hierophant is here also, which speaks to maybe you find more people that you identify with here. So, the job itself might not be ideal in terms of like the hours, or the work might not be like your ideal position. But I think that you feeling valued and appreciated and adored, and like feeling that reward of a job well done, I think you receive that here with this specific type of job. I think that you build trust and you build relationships, and you're coming across as someone very generous, and like people can confide in you. You're coming across almost like you start building friendships, okay? Whether, like I said, that's the people that you're working with or your patients themselves, you're building like, it feels like value, it feels like fulfillment. And I don't know if this is something you do forever, but I think that you're able to kind of lean more on your own intuition, lean more on your own discernment. Maybe you'll be put in positions where you have to make the decision on certain things because you're going based off of your gut. But maybe there's also more flexibility with this job as well in certain ways. So I feel like what you're seeking, like what you're leaving and seeking from this, is what you'll receive. I just don't know if long term this is the goal for you. Like long term, this is like where you're going to be until retirement. It might be taxing on you in other ways. So essentially, to conclude, the things that you're not liking about your current job, you will receive those things that are good, like the opposite at this job. I know that you said your mini, you were gonna wait to think on that one. Do you know what your question is yet? Your last question, why does Carlos despise me? Like he has that anger. What's interesting, I've always tried to work with him, but now I'm taking his support. This is your ex that we're talking about? Okay. What's his energy towards her? So he's very much in his ego, SB. You threaten his ego. You make him confront the parts of himself he'd rather ignore. He wants to surround himself with people that like lie to him. you're amazing, you're great, you're doing so well. People that make him feel good about himself, people that make him feel like accepted as he is, you challenge him. You tell him that's not good enough. You hold up a mirror to him and you say, look at yourself. Like, you seriously need to reflect on the fact that this is not okay. You know what I mean? Um, I feel like you might be one of the only people in his life that doesn't just blow smoke up his ass. You are coming from a very real place. You're needing him to really apply himself. You're needing him to make realistic choices when it comes to you, child support, being an active part of your child's life or not, whatever. But basically, you challenge his ego. Like, you don't give in. You don't appease him. You don't let him just move on through life and pretend like everything's fine. He wants to ignore the parts of himself that he does not want to work on. And when he is in contact with you, that is not how that goes down. Not only that, but he's delusional a little bit. Let's be real. He probably tells other people things that aren't actually true because he's trying to make himself feel better for being a deadbeat or whatever word you would use to fill in that spot. So I feel like that is honestly the reason why he doesn't like you. Like, exactly, you don't enable him. I feel awful that you're in this position. He told his ex-wife. Was the ex-wife before or after you, out of curiosity? Do you and the ex get along? I'm pretty sure that she knows his whole game. She knows his whole spiel. Yep, 100. Literally, that's just what I said. She knows. Yep, 100%, girl. Because I was going to ask, I was like, are you guys friends? You know what's really funny, SB, about this conversation is my mom and my biological father were in a similar situation, okay? He's ex-military, dishonorable discharge, never wanted to make a payment. And my mom was dealing with a lot of BS with him. And then he started dating a new girl. And what's funny is now my biological father is not really a part of anyone's life, okay? Really in general at all. And my mom and his ex-girlfriend are now like friends. They have like been acquainted probably for the last 15 years. And like nobody associates with him, but the two of them are friends. It's like trauma bond, right? Almost like but I feel like that's kind of the situation that you're in right now. I warned her that he would retaliate, and he actually did. I think you're just dealing with a very spiteful person with him. And, bottom line, he doesn't like that you don't accept what he is trying to like spew. You don't accept the lies. You don't accept the delusion. You hold him accountable, and he doesn't like that very much. So you're dealing with a very angry, spiteful person that just wants to move on with their life, wants to live their life around people who really don't know him. He wants to put on a facade. He likes the fact that, and he's probably gonna be the type of person that always wants to surround himself with new people, because the less you know him, the more he can lie to you, the more he can make you think that he is someone that he's not. And you guys know the truth, and he doesn't like that very much. Yep. Exactly. So, SBU trigger him, bottom line. I'm so glad you got away when you did, man. So there is nothing you're doing wrong but making him responsible for his actions. And if he doesn't like that, oh well. It's going to come for him. I want you to know, like, karma's going to come for him. Everything that he's putting you through, it's going to come back around. And your kid is going to see it as well. Speaking from experience. You're welcome. Thank you so much for your donations. I hope you have a good rest of your night. I appreciate you a lot, SB. I don't know if you get readings from other people, but I know that you always make a conscious decision to come to me, and I just want you to know how much I appreciate it. SB. And the other thing I want to throw out there about his girlfriend and his mom enabling him, they'll eventually see it too, because when he has no one left in the world, because he has screwed over every single relationship, every single friendship, and they're stuck with him, they'll see it. It's going to be a while, but they'll eventually see it. They will. All right, so Asen, last on my list for tonight. Do you want to go ahead and post your question for me, please? All right, in-depth love spread for you and Anthony. It's been a little bit, hasn't it? Since I've seen you. I feel like it's been like a month or two. Maybe longer, I don't know. But it's good seeing you. Let me pull up my love spread real quick. Update on the energies. Okay. Let's do that for you real quick. All right, son, I just pulled your cards. Give me a second to analyze real quick and I'll come back with your reading. Oh, I just realized that I need to plug my my computer in real quick. Hold on. Hey, Ethan, sorry, I had to find my charger. It just took me a second. I'm about to be right with you. Hey, Asen, thank you so much for your patience with me on that. Aesthetic Delta, I'm closed on all my lists, friends. Okay, so for the relationship success, there is potential here. Asen, I have the Ace of Cups, which tells me that there is enough of feelings for each other to keep this connection going. Um, Meaning that it's reciprocated. The feelings are there on both ends. Now, it could be stronger potentially on one side or the other, but this card kind of says that it's not in your head, that you guys are both feeling this way about each other. Now, this could be because maybe you're meant to be together. This could be because of the karmic relationship and you guys haven't gotten each other out of your systems. But for whatever the reason is, it's like you guys are gravitating back to each other most of the time. I feel like with the Page of Swords, he's curious about you. He could be this is the card of like curiosity and like research. So what he could be doing right now is like keeping tabs on you, wanting to know what you're doing, wanting to know what you're up to. Sometimes this card can talk about in modern day times being a lurker. So kind of like stalking your social media if you have a social media presence, if you have mutual friends, maybe asking after you, just basically trying to gain any kind of intel that he possibly can. I don't know if you guys are in communication right now, but it sounds like you might not be completely on in communication if he's also trying to get information about you in other ways. His true intentions, we have the Justice card. So this does talk about karma. It talks about contracts, soul contracts, life lessons, things like that. I would say that what he really would like is for you guys to kind of get on the same page. He understands that if he's not putting effort into this connection, that he's not going to get effort back. The Justice always talks about getting your justice, getting your dues. If someone else is putting more energy into you than you are into them, that it's not going to be fair. It's not going to work. So I kind of feel like with this card, he's looking to restore some type of balance with you. Maybe kind of come into a place where you both feel like the energy is matched. You said you've been in contact and spoke to him 2 weeks ago, told him what you needed, and it wasn't happening, so it's good. I can do me. That makes sense. Ascend. So with the Justice card for him, we're basically wanting to restore balance and match energy, meaning he doesn't want you to do more than what he's doing for you. He wants to feel like it's even, whatever is happening. So if he's not giving more. So if he's not giving to you, you don't give to him, kind of thing. But again, you guys gravitate towards each other, so just keep that in mind, that you would have to hold strong in that regard, because there's always something that's constantly pulling you guys back together. What you want, we have the Devil. You're looking for him to become more stable. I think you're trying to become unattached to the outcome and maybe unattached to him. Maybe you've been feeling very dependent on his moves and what he's doing and how he's contributing to the relationship, and maybe you're moving more into a place where you're just like, I don't care. I don't want to be dependent on and hanging on his every word and his every move. I want to, release myself from that. What he wants, it's more of the same. We have the Emperor here. So I feel like he's just looking for consistency. The Emperor does sometimes speak a little bit to single-mindedness or like narrow-mindedness, meaning that he's not really open to seeing another perspective. He's got his goals, his plans, whatever in front of him, and like that's kind of where his head is at. And the Emperor also talks about someone being unchanged or unmoved. So if you're looking for him to be different, show up differently, things like that, that's not this energy. This energy is saying that he's going to continue to be the same. Wondering what will happen. I've always been understanding. So now I'm just like, do less, wondering how he feels about this new behavior of mine. Well, with the Justice card, in terms of like his intentions and the Page of Swords and how he's viewing you and how he feels, it's making me feel like it's getting him curious about you. Like he is noticing a change. He is noticing you pulling back your energy. Maybe he feels like you're also trying to restore balance and maybe not lean so much on him and what he's doing and what his actions are. So at the end of the day, I feel like you're making an impact. You're making an impression on him by kind of stepping back out of the connection. I know you're looking for change from him. I get that. And I just don't feel that here right now. For the longest time, I think you might have thrived on the chaos of the connection. Deep down, you're wanting something more, maybe something more committed, maybe something more official. But what draws you guys to each other, maybe what draws you to him, is the chaos. We have the Tower. So it's like the unpredictableness. It's like intoxicating. And it doesn't mean that you don't want commitment. It doesn't mean that you don't want him to step up for you, and doesn't mean that you don't know what you deserve. But sometimes we kind of crave the chaos because we're hoping for a different outcome. We're hoping for something different. We're hoping for a change. And it's like every time we come back together, it's like intoxicating. And is it going to be different this time? And it kind of becomes a drug a little bit. Again, there's disharmony in this connection. There's feelings there. There's magnetism. Okay. You guys are very drawn to each other, but the lack of emotional depth, meaning like the inability to be vulnerable, the inability to come together in a relationship in a committed way, the ability to be open to love and connection and take this to the next level is not there, and that is being perceived as a weakness. You feel like this is going in circles, feels like insanity. He still won't change. Disappointing. Yeah. Energy around the relationship. What you just said, disappointment. 5 of Cups. If you Google 5 of Cups, you'll see sadness, loss, feeling abandoned by him, feeling hurt by him, feeling isolated from him. What's hidden, we have Temperance. So this card is a card of like you needing to seek out peace for yourself, not kind of giving in to temptation with him, making accommodations and adjustments in your own life so that you're not putting all of your attention on him specifically, like not putting all of your eggs in his basket, basically. The overall feeling that I'm getting from this Ascend is that he's generally okay with the fact that you're pulling back from him. I think maybe right now that is working for him. He's noticing it. He's still curious about you. I still think he likes the idea of having access to you, but the more that you demand of him, the less he's interested. So this might be something where you kind of just say, okay, you know what? I'm done here. And if he wants to make an effort and he wants to try, then that's going to be the ball in his court. And then I think you're going to see from this, like if he's going to put in effort or not. And I don't think he will, just because the Emperor is here. But I think you're going to start to realize, like, the only thing that's been keeping this going for so long is mostly because of you. You know what I mean? How are you feeling about this connection? Do you feel like you just want to maintain that distance for now? Distance, yes, if no actions. I had slight hope him reaching out, meaning he had reflected and that was more optimistic. Oh, I see. So yes, and I think you're on the right track. I think you're making the best decision for yourself. I'm always going to be in support of that, especially because after being in a connection the way that you're in with him, I realize how easy it can be. And you don't have to try so hard to fight for someone to want to be with you, because I met someone immediately after that who became my husband. So, and we're celebrating our 10 years on Saturday. And so when you see how easy it can be, you see how someone can just genuinely be interested in you, want to be around you, want to spend time with you, want to make the effort, you kind of wonder why you spent so much time waiting around for someone who was never going to, or not never, but maybe most likely never be available to you. So I think you're doing the right thing. And kind of the advice that I had told someone earlier was, it doesn't mean you have to shut the door completely. You don't have to put yourself in a box and say, I'm completely done, I'm writing him off, unless that's your prerogative. You can just say, I'll keep the door cracked, he can have an egg in his basket, but I'm not going to ignore the other opportunities in front of me just because I'm so hung up on this one person. And if he does want to enter back into my life, he needs to come correct, and he needs to really make an effort. And we'll see if I'm even interested at that point. I think that's a smart move. That's what you got to do. And if you want to write him off completely, do the damn thing. But I think sometimes we think that if we pull back and we pull our energy away from that person, that we're completely giving up on the connection. And I think that's what makes it really hard for people to walk away, because they think either I have to stay fully committed or I have to leave. And that's not true. Baby steps. Pull back a little bit. See how it feels. You might become more empowered. You might become more happy. And when you realize that your energy is what's been keeping this going for the most part, you realize that when you pull back, he's not really showing up for you. And it's a wake-up call, Well, I'm Gladys, and it was really great talking to you tonight. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening. And everyone else, if there's anyone else hanging out in here, I hope you all have a good rest of your night. I'm going to go ahead and sign off, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.